This video will focus on using digital methods to analyze student data, specifically Google Sheets and other applications and functions within Google Sheets that are not available on Microsoft Excel or similar applications. In terms of why to use digital means for analysis, using Google Sheets as opposed to Microsoft Excel means that Google Suite products will automatically be saved in the cloud so long as you have a Gmail account, which is free. Or if your school uses Gmail or Google Apps for Education, this will not cost you anything. Once you are familiar with using filters and pivot tables, which I will show you how to use in this video, they're extremely easy to use. And there are a variety of different views available that will enable you to analyze and effectively interpret your data. The goals and objectives of using Google Sheets and digital forms of data analysis, are the ease for the process of data collection and analysis, to facilitate data-informed instruction for teachers, and to enable teachers to easily view and process student data. Related to the previous bullet, which ultimately enables them to inform their instruction based on student data and trends in student data. The ISTE standards addressed by this video are the following. 3C, which is to communicate relevant information and ideas effectively to students, parents, and peers using a variety of digital age media and formats. Using Google Sheets to interpret and analyze student data will enable teachers to effectively communicate data and results to parents and all stakeholders in a child's education. Additionally, ISTE Standard 3D states that teachers will model and facilitate effective use of current and emerging digital tools to locate, analyze, evaluate, and use information resources to support research and learning. Using these tools to analyze student data will enable teachers to make informed decisions based on student data, which will ultimately help support educational research and learning in all manners. There are two different ways to sort student data in Google Sheets. I should say there are two primary ways that are easiest to use for teachers to sort student data, which is using filters and what's called pivot tables. Following, I will show you how to use these tools. Now, I have opened a spreadsheet here where I have blacked out student names and student ID numbers of students. These are students that I do teach. I have changed some of the information in the body of this document to anonymize it. Now, what this spreadsheet is data for my SLO, which is Student Learning Objectives, or my teacher evaluation this year. I've collected the baseline interpretive scores on an assessment for Spanish, which is a reading. Now, you'll notice the numbers in this column span anywhere from 1 to 7, which I don't believe there are any 7s, but it could be a 7. Interpretive, in this case, in my district, is evaluated on a scale from 1 to 20, not 1 to 100. This is a proficiency-based scale. The second important piece of data here is the baseline presentational score, which was a writing assessment. In this case, there are some 7s, such as here. And next to each column, you have the growth target for how many points students will grow. That's just a simple explanation of what you can expect. Next, the significant chunk of data off to the side here is the MAP scores, which is part of a national assessment for math, reading, and the 2014 PASS test, which is a test specific to the state of South Carolina. And my school district this past year incorporated the ACT Aspire for math and ACT Aspire for ELA test this past year. And you can see with met, below, met, well below, exceeded, there's a whole lot of different things going on. And if you're looking at this spreadsheet and trying to make sense of this spreadsheet all at once, that could be extremely overwhelming. If you wanted to sort this data more easily, What I'm going to do here to filter it is select the columns that I want to potentially filter, which in this case is all of them. And I'm going to go to data, or excuse me, rather, to filter by clicking on this triangle-shaped icon in the corner here. If I want to filter something, what I can do ultimately, excuse me, is to create what's called a filter view, which enables me to save certain ways that I want to filter the data. So let me reselect all of that data. And then by going to data, I'm going to turn on the filter. By clicking there, I have turned on the filter. Now, to sort all of this data, there are a variety of different ways that I can do that. Excuse me, this seems to have come unselected again. I apologize. Now, I'm going to create, in this case, a new filter. I'm going to name this filtering, simply because I want to. Now, once I am in filter view, you'll notice that there are arrows at the top of each one of these columns and even, off to the side here in the rows, which is just outside of your screen. If I click there, I can filter by condition. I could set a variety of things. In this case, I could set it to if the cell is empty, if I want it to show all of the cells that are empty. If the text contains something specific, does not contain, so on and so forth. There are a variety. You can filter all kinds of different things. You can do dates if there's a timestamp, greater than. What I'm going to do in this case is filter anything that is greater than 5. Because based on the level that my students are at, they need to be scoring in the range of 5 to 7. So I want to filter out anything below that to see how many of my students are where they should be. So if I hit OK there, it has filtered out everything in that column that is greater than 5. In that case, there are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 students on the pre-test that scored higher than that. You'll notice there that that icon, with the triangle looking thing there, means that that's being filtered. So if I want to cancel that, I'm going to undo that filter view and hit OK, and it's brought all of my data back. Let's say I want to see only those that scored a 3. Instead of filtering by condition, I'm going to filter by value. And here it shows all of the different values in that column. I'm going to unselect everything but 3. When I hit OK in that column, it's going to show me all of the 3s, along with all of their accompanying data. So let's say I want to see those that got a 3 on the baseline interpretive and the baseline presentational. So then I could come over here to this column and change the filter by value, and I've narrowed my list even more. I've only got 3. But let's see, I want to see who got a 3 on both of those assessments who also scored well below on their math test. In that case, it shows me all of the potential values. I'm going to unselect MET, okay, and I've narrowed it down even more. So you can see I've gone from that list of 40 students with just a couple of clicks down to 2, which is extremely easy. Now to undo that, I can simply check all of the values back there and undo all of the filters that I set. And then I go back, and I'm going to click all of those back into action, and I have all of my data back. That is extremely helpful, in my opinion. Another method that is available for sorting is using what is called a pivot table. To create a pivot table, I'm going to go to Data, Pivot Table. Now that's going to bring up what looks like a blank screen, or what is a blank screen, but I need to change what's going in it. Off to the side here, you have rows, columns, values, and filter. To keep it simple, in the rows, I could select all kinds of different things. I could have the student baseline presentational scores as rows and do their names as columns. Whatever you want to see, you can make happen in this table. In this case, I'm going to select the student names. And from here, this is very easy. In terms of columns, I'm going to add the baseline interpretive score, just because that's what I want to see. Now you'll notice the different potential scores have appeared at the top here, and the grand total. Notice there's nothing in the body of the chart. What I have to do is add values. Since I selected baseline interpretive scores, I need to see in values the baseline interpretive scores. Now what that has showed me here is who scored what. I can see this person was not tested. This person had a 3, 4, 5, 6, so on and so forth. Now if I want to filter, you can see this says 2, 30, 56, 50, 30. That's a little confusing. Excuse me, let me come back to this. You'll notice on this side it says summarized by sum, which means it has added, this says 56 because that is the total of all of the students that got 4 has been added up. If I want to change that to how many there were, if I change it to count, it shows ones, but that means this person scored a 4. And the total here down at the bottom would mean that's how many people scored that. This person scored a 1, or scored a 3 that many times. If I want to undo that, I can change the values, and it's very easy. And you can select whatever you want to put in each column. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a basic way to use pivot tables and filters to sort your data. Hope it helps.